can be intentional about your character, you can have money and a career.
You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. My co-host today here on the air, Christy Wright, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Business Boutique. We are here to answer your questions about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Ron starts us off in Houston, Texas this hour. Hey, Ron, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, man. What's up?
Well, I have a question. Me and my wife we're on baby step 6, and we've got a high-risk investment that's worth about $25,000 right now, and we're getting it to the point where it's uncomfortable, where we want to sell the investment and cash it out. And I would like to spend about half of it on a vehicle that I've always wanted, and she's uneasy about that. Just spending that amount of money on something that's completely a luxury and not necessary. So I was going to see if you could weigh in and let us know what your opinion is on it.
Well, I'm an expert on my opinion. Christy can weigh in also. That's fun. The thing that I have found is if it falls under the heading of wisdom, it generally is a small ratio. Toys that are a large ratio in your life, meaning they're a high percentage of your income or they're a high percentage of your net worth, is a toy you shouldn't do. But one of the reasons we work is to buy some toys, and there's nothing evil about having a toy. And that's what this is. That's what you're describing. And you're talking about spending $12,000 or $13,000, right?
Correct.
Okay. And what's your household income?
We made $80,000 last year.
Okay. And what are your other cars worth?
My car, I've got an old pickup truck and my wife's car. They're worth about $20,000 combined.
Okay. Well, one of the rules of thumb we use is you're debt-free, everything but your house, and we want you to be there. The other rule of thumb we use is don't buy things with motors or wheels, all combined, that equal more than half your annual income, right? And so You're not doing that. It hasn't violated that. You'd be at 32 and you make 80, so you'd still be fine. What are you talking about buying? Just curious.
A BMW Z4 Coupe.
Okay. All right, cool. So a little midlife crisis car. That's fun. I like it. I've got one of those. I don't have that car, but I got a couple of midlife crisis cars. I live in a perpetual midlife crisis when it comes to cars, that is. So, how much do you guys have in your 401k?
I'm 33 years old, and I've got just over $100,000.
Okay. All right.
Ron, are you the spender?
I am the spender. One of the reasons that we're in the position we're in is because my wife is so frugal and she has a hard time spending money on anything. I have to buy her things most of the time because she won't spend it on herself.
Yeah, I would guess that just because like we teach all the time, a lot of times in marriage, there's a saver and a spender. My husband is the saver. I am the spender. So the conversation sounds a lot in our household like the conversation you're having, regardless of what it is and the situation we're in. But here's a couple questions I ask him whenever he is unsure about a purchase, because I will tell you he is usually unsure about a purchase. he gives me the classic line that drives me crazy. Let me think about it.
Matt's a tightwad.
Oh, a week later, let me think about it.
He's a tightwad.
6 months later, I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, oh my goodness. Here's some questions. I just ask him, Ron, what are you worried about? What fears do you have around this? What are your concerns? And I give him an opportunity to voice those concerns. And sometimes they are things we can address and talk through together. Sometimes they're really valid and maybe a blind spot I didn't see because I'm such a spender. And I'm like, oh, it's a great idea. So that's what's so great about having these conversations in your marriage, because you come to the best decision together. But I would just say, give her an opportunity to voice those concerns, to talk through those concerns, to actually nail them down. It can't just be, I don't know, I'm just scared. Let's what are you worried about? What are what are your concerns? What would help you feel better about this decision and that type of thing? And so I think maybe asking some of those questions, giving her a chance to answer, will allow her to feel more of a part of the decision either way, and then you're kind of moving forward together. But I just want to encourage you, if you open that door, you might be surprised at what she has to say, and it might lead to y'all coming together on this.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it might just let the steam off, might let the air out of the problem. But so by ratios, what I'm referring to, Ron, and for the sake of all our listeners as well, I kind of ask myself when I'm dealing with someone who's wealthy or someone who's doing well financially, you all are doing well financially, if I put that amount of money in your situation in the middle of the floor and I burned it, would it destroy my life? Would it mess up my life? Would it set me back 5 years? Would it set me back a year? Would it do damage to where, I mean, obviously we don't want to be that wasteful. That's silly, okay? But the point is, if the car caught on fire the next day and burned to the ground and you had no insurance, would you have ruined your finances and your future, or seriously set them back? Or would you just not notice, Like, I had a guy call me up one time that was making $600,000 a year, and he was all worried about buying a $20,000 Harley. And I'm like, dude, you could drive it off a cliff once a month and nobody would care. I mean, you're going to be okay. It's not going to affect because of the ratio to his income. You see what I'm saying? So that's what, and this is a big enough ratio that you would feel it, but it wouldn't mess your life up. And so that tells me it's a buy. If I'm in your shoes, I'm buying the car.
Okay, so I got a question for you, Dave, on this, because in marriage, you do typically have a saver, have a spender. One of the things I've noticed, and I would say Matt's not like this. Matt is cautious, but he will spend money on things that that he likes. What about those type of people? And I don't know that Ron's wife is like this, but what about those people that genuinely don't like spending money? They just don't. And so you've got this spouse that's going, but we have the money, but it's okay. We've got this thing. And they hate spending money. And so it's really hard for them to ever say yes to a decision because they hate letting go of it. How do you help them, those savers, open their hands a little bit?
Rachel and I were talking about this a little bit yesterday on the air with the launch of her Know Yourself, Know Your Money book, because she talks about the spender versus a saver, and she talks about the 7 tendencies, and that's one of the 7 tendencies. Are you a saver or are you a spender? And the thing that she so wisely points out is neither one of those are bad. It's not bad to be a saver.
You
it's
need
not
a
bad
little
to be a
both,
spender. But what is unhealthy is if either one go to the extreme. Mm-hmm. And what you're talking about is a saver that has gone to the extreme. They cannot get joy from the handling of money and their finances. They can never get enough to get a sense of joy in purchasing something. And usually what I prescribe for them is increased generosity. Mm. When you start giving more, it causes you to have more of a sense of abundance, more of a sense of,
with open hands.
I don't have to have this for my security. I'm not damaging or ruining my life by helping this person with this $1,000 gift or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And when you start giving more, especially hand to, not to vague organizations, big buildings, but to just say, this individual, I'm going to help this single mom pay her light bill for a year or something like that, then that causes you to become a little bit less freaked out. And you can move towards enjoyment of money yourself. Yeah. Because it also kind of gives you permission to enjoy money.
Right.
Because you're helping others.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be too far on either end of the spectrum. It is toxic when you do that.
That's good.
This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Folks, it's an honor to tell you about the Army National Guard. Not only are they big supporters of our high school curriculum, but they also give you the opportunity to impact your local communities. Whether your goals are to get an education, serve your country, or have a better life, the Army National Guard can help get you there. Plus, they offer unbelievable financial benefits. Secure your future today. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. right. Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. This is the Dave Ramsey Show, where we talk about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Chris is in Salt Lake City. Hi, Chris. How can we help?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I really appreciate your time. So I had a question about paying off upcoming medical bill because we're expecting our first child beginning of February, and I've spent hours calling around trying to get the numbers on that and decided to go with an HSA plan because it had the lowest max out of pocket for a worst case scenario. My wife and I saved up money last year to pay off her student loans, and the amount is probably about $1,000 difference between paying off the medical bill, the max out of pocket for the family, and her student loans. And so my question is, which one would you pay? And I know that student loan forgiveness is kind of a hot topic right now, and so I would hate to pay the student loans and then find out we get $10,000 reimbursed or forgiven. And so right now the student loan is $12,900. The max out of pocket for the family insurance would be $13,800.
And you're going to max it?
Yes. Everyone I've talked to said that I'm going to max out the out of pocket for my wife, and then for our son will be like $2,000 away. And so we were considering just maxing it out for worst case scenario, but also my wife wanted to have a surgery, get her tonsils out. I needed a sinus surgery, so we figured this was the year to just get that taken care of.
Oh, and that's all in the 13.
Mm-hmm. Because
Okay.
after the 13,000,
Because usually labor and delivery is not 13.
Okay. I called different doctors and whatnot and asked what they charge for delivery and added that all up.
I'm sorry,
kind of
you
nerd,
have a
so I had
baby
to-
due in February.
Yes.
Okay. Well, here's
So I
the
called
thing.
all the doctors.
Regardless of the student loan forgiveness issue, that doesn't enter into the equation for me because I think it's so unlikely and it'll be such a long time before all that occurs that you're not going to see that relief anytime soon if you ever do see it. So I want you to pay your student loan. And I want you to pay your medical bills. Which one would I pay first? I pay the medical bills first. They're immediately due. The student loan has terms to it. Medical bills don't have terms. The only reason people get payments on medical bills is because they can't pay the bill.
Mm-hmm.
It's due when they send it to you, 100%. And so you need to pay that bill or you're in default, and they'll put you on payments. But I don't want you to get into default. You pay the whole bill. And so, but right now you're just saving up money until baby comes. We're not doing debt snowball. We're not doing anything except living on a budget, piling up cash. And when you get these baby comes and these miscellaneous small surgeries are done, then you you pay your bill, pay your medical bill, and then you tear into that student loan as soon as you can.
Okay.
Easy enough?
Easy enough.
Congratulations. We appreciate you calling.
Congratulations.
That's awesome, man. What a great way to start 2021. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Abigail is in, if I push the right button, she would be. Abigail is in Greenville, South Carolina. Hi, Abigail. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
My husband passed away about a week and a half ago.
Oh, my gosh.
I have $400,000 in life insurance coming in and $100,000 in a death gratuity that I actually got today. I have 3 kids. I don't work. I owe about $255,000 in my house with basically no equity, and then about $25,000 in my car. I'm just trying to figure out what to do with it to make it last and be smart with it for my kids.
My goodness. I'm so sorry. How old was he?
Thank you. He was 32.
Oh, no. So you said $400,000 in insurance and $100,000 in what?
In a death gratuity. It's from the military.
Oh, so he was military.
He was, yes, sir.
Oh. Okay. And you live in Greenville, South Carolina. Is that where you were assigned by the military?
He was in the National Guard. He was a recruiter for the Guard, so we kind of live where we want to as long as it's in South Carolina.
I see. Okay. So the reason I ask is this where you would stay necessarily?
Yeah, this is where all my family is. I mean, I could always move if I wanted to, but for right now, I'm in a new build neighborhood, so can't really sell the house very easily right this second. So yeah, I'm planning on staying here for a little while.
And you said you owe what on the home?
$255,000.
$255 and $25 on the car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby girl, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
A week and a half, huh? So
Yeah.
you got good support around you, obviously, your family. You got a good church family you're in, I hope.
Yes, I have all the support in the world.
Good. Oh my goodness. Well, what I tell folks to do is to try to make as few decisions as they can, especially the more major the decision, for the first 6 months to a year. Because in the fog of grief, I mean, you're still just, you're still just trying to get your head around this actually happened. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's not, if something happened to my wife, I wouldn't be thinking clearly a week and a half later. No one does. And so you're thinking pretty clearly. You are very articulate here on the air. It's amazing how calm you are. But so I try to give people some space to grieve to make better quality decisions. Okay?
Okay.
So if I woke up in your shoes, what would I do? Probably 6 months from now, or a year from now, I'm going to pay the house off. But today I'm not.
Okay.
Okay. Today I'd go ahead and pay off the car if you're going to keep it. Would you sell it and keep his old car, or sell his old car?
No, the kids only fit in my car, so that's going to have to be the keeper.
Okay. So yours is the keeper, and we're going to sell the other one.
I mean, both the other cars are completely paid off, old cars. You know, they don't really cost us anything.
Well, they cost you insurance and tags to sit there if you only got one driver, but that's not a big deal. You don't have to make that decision right now either. It's okay. But yeah, I'd pay it off if you're going to keep it. I'd pay it off. And I would set, obviously you've got some, he's military. Are they covering the funeral?
Yeah, they covered it, and then his parents paid the rest, so I don't have any of those expenses. My only thing is I don't work, so if I'm going to, I'm going to have to start touching this money within the next couple months.
Yeah. And your $400,000 is not enough to not work.
Right.
So you're going to have to come up with a career plan too. Long term.
And my goal is to get my master's degree and stay home with my kids until they're all in school, which is like 3 years from now, if possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, master's degree in what and why?
In counseling. It's been something that I've been passionate about for a while, and just kind of solidified the decision.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 400 is not going to go very far. It's I don't want to be melodramatic. Yeah, pay off your car, park the 400 in a money market account, and set yourself on a really tight household budget. Because I don't think you got 3 years with 400 grand. 400 grand will produce about $40,000 a year max in income, and you're not going to have quite 400 after everything happens here. So, and you can't live in perpetuation on that and do the things you're talking about doing. So we're probably not going to pay off the house, is what we're saying. We're probably going to end up investing this money and using it for to get through this 2 to 3 years and get your master's, and then get your income up. And once you get your income up to survival level, either before or after the master's, then I would talk about paying off the house later. But for now, let's just park this money, but treat it like you don't have any money.
Okay.
Much. I mean, because if you get off into grief spending, Miss Future Counselor, and you spend all this money, you're going to blow this whole thing up. And so park it to the side and act like it's not there after you pay off the car. Live yourself on a real tight budget. And we're going to put you in Ramsey Plus, put you through Financial Peace University to make sure you're taken care of. Because we always help widows here, and particularly widows in the military. Oh my goodness. Hang on, Kelly. I'll give that to you free. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices. And they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Her best-selling devotional, she is now leading through an Instagram Live every morning. It is 40 days long. It is called Living True. And you did the first one this morning.
Yeah, I'm walking them through each section because, as you know, Dave, this is organized by 4 sections. You need to know who God is, who you are, where you are, and where you're going to get back to you. So it's a 40-day devotional, and I'm kicking off each section with them early in the morning to have a nice discussion, and it's kind of like a free online Bible study. So it's just a fun way to start your day and start your year with Scripture and getting back to yourself. So yeah, it's been fun. It's amazing to see the testimonies already coming in from how this Devo is helping people. So I'm super grateful.
Living True, 40 Days to Get Back to You. It is a bestseller. And the first devotional that Ramsey Press has done, our publishing arm, and very, very excited about its success. This coming Tuesday, we are doing our largest ever live stream. It's completely free. It's called Reset. Rachel Cruz, Chris Hogan, me, and Craig Groeschel, Pastor Craig, from lifechurch.tv. We will be doing this live from Oklahoma City, from their stage at lifechurch.tv, January the 12th at 7 p.m., and spend an evening with us. From 7 p.m. on, we're going to walk you through how to reset. Not only how to put together a step-by-step game plan to win with your money, because you need to reset after last year, right? And but also, Rachel's going to cover some of the know yourself, know your money, know yourself, know your money materials from her new book that just launched yesterday. And Pastor Craig will be doing a talk on discipline, which all weaves together to help you reset and get yourself going again. If you want to watch the event, it is completely free. You need to text the word reset to 33789. 33789. Text reset. If you're in Oklahoma City, there's a handful of tickets left. It's a very limited audience because of spacing and so forth there. It's only $20, but we do want some folks there while we're doing the talk. We'd love to have you. Just go to daveramsey.com/events, and you can make that part of your evening if you're in that area for this coming Tuesday. And again, we'd love to have you at all of these. Open phones at 888-825-5225. David is in Grand Rapids. Hi, David. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Well, hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Well, my wife and I are worried about retirement. So we're trying to figure out how much we need to put away and where to put it.
Okay.
And we have a household income of $80,000 to $90,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
We both have 401s at 15%.
Mm-hmm.
And this year we just started a Roth.
Good.
So
how old are you guys?
I'm 53 and my wife is 50.
Okay. And how much is in there now?
So we kind of, between the two of us, approximately $300,000.
Good. Okay. Got a really good start. Okay. What's your fear? You're not going to have enough?
Right.
Okay. Well, we teach folks to invest, and I personally invest in 4 types of growth stock mutual funds. and I put a fourth in each: growth, growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. I'm a little ahead of you. I'm 60, but I've been doing that for most of my working life, and putting 15% away, and then later when everything was debt free, I just max out everything that I'm allowed to do, whatever I'm allowed to do, Roths and 401ks and HSAs, anything I can put money into, keep the government's hands off of, I do, and I put it all in those 4 types of mutual funds. The stock market, since it began, has averaged 11%, a little over 11 actually. Okay. And so if you're invested in decent mutual funds, you should be in that 10 to 12 range. And so if you retired and you had $1 million and you wanted to pull off 8% while earning more than 8% on your money, hopefully, that's what you would have been doing all these years anyway, then that would be $80,000 a year.
Okay.
If you're invested at that rate, if you're invested in what I'm talking about, you can take your lump sum that you have now and it will double every 7 years approximately. So 7 years from today, when you're 59, you'll have 600. 7 years later, when you're 66, you'd have 1.2. That's if you add nothing else to it.
To retire a millionaire would be awesome.
Yeah. So if you work till 65 and you keep putting in 15%, you're probably going to have $2 to $3 million if you're invested like I'm talking about. Now, if you're putting it in a bank IRA making 1%, then no, you're not going to do that. But I'm talking about making the 10 to 12% range that the stock market has averaged in decent mutual funds. Okay. So you need to align with that to hit those goals. But that 300 will double once, and then it'll double again by 66 if you're 52.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. So you're on track. You don't have anything to wring your hands about, but you do need to watch it, be diligent, continue to do the investing, and make sure you're invested in those types of things. And if you're not, you may want to sit down with one of our SmartVestor pros. You can click SmartVestor at DaveRamsey.com. These are the people we recommend. They don't work for me. I'm not in the investing business. I personally use a SmartVestor Pro to help with my retirement. I'm sure you guys do too.
We do. And what's so interesting, even in his question, I hear this a lot whenever I'm hosting the show with you, Dave, is the unknown is so scary to people. As soon as you laid that out for me, he's like, oh, well, great. Okay. It's like the confidence goes up. I can see how it's possible. I know what I need to do. But sometimes things that are technical, difficult, or just even unknown can feel really overwhelming and really scary. And that's why I love the SmartVestor Pros, because they walk you through it and show you exactly what you need to do and show you the path and the numbers. Or even something simple like Chris Hogan's RIQ tool. You plug in the numbers and you see what you need to retire. Whatever it is, just being able to see it immediately helps you just, okay, I see what I need to do.
Yeah, for me as a nerd, it's easy to understand, but what you're saying is numbers, when they're accurate, can relieve stress and give you hope.
Yeah, when you know what they are.
And you go, okay, I have $100,000 in debt. I make $150,000. Oh, wait a minute, I could put $50,000 of that a year on it, and I'd be debt-free in 2 years. Those are numbers that go, I could be debt-free in 2 years.
When you can see it, you can do it, and that's why we love giving people a plan. But, even as you said that, I thought, gosh, I remember when I was in debt, and I remember this was in my late 20s, and I would pay my bills, but I never looked at it all at one time. If you would have asked me at that time, Chrissy, how much debt total you have, I said, I don't know, because I didn't want to face it. It was so overwhelming and scary. But actually, when I sat down and listed out my debts, it was like, oh, okay, I can handle this, because now I know it's not unknown anymore. It doesn't have that power and over me, and I'm able to see this is what I need to do to take control over it.
It's amazing when you open the closet door and turn the light on. There's no monster in there. There's no monster in there. And it's we all have the monster under the bed. We all have. Might be a little gremlin, might be a mouse, but it's not a monster. It's not something that can't be slain, that can't be dealt with. That's going to eat you alive. It's just you can deal with it, but it's you do need to lay it out and do some projections. And again, having some people in your corner, like a SmartVestor Pro. I teach this stuff, and I'm probably known more than anybody in America for teaching this stuff. And if I passed away today, one of the second or third phone call Sharon would make would be to our SmartVestor Pro, because she's going to want to be reassured again that she's okay.
Yep.
She's been reassured. We've shown her the numbers 26,000 times, but she's going to want it again.
Right.
I know that. And so I've got that little list of phone numbers. Here's who you call, the coroner, and then you call, and then you call this, and then you call that, right? But I mean, and the SmartVestor Pro is going to be one of the right there, because if she can go,
that's right.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah. And it gives you a sense of control. When you list out your debts, see, before when it was unknown, they had control over you, but now you're like, oh, I have control. I see what it is. I can tackle it. Same thing with your retirement goals. When you list it out, it's like, oh, I've got control now. I can do something about this.
And people do their every dollar budget. When they jump in Ramsey Plus, they have the same experience. They go, oh, wait a minute. Where's all my money going?
That's right.
This is silly. I can do this.
That's right.
And then you get this sense of power like you got a raise.
That's right.
Yeah. It's just being out of control versus in control, having knowledge versus not having knowledge, having options versus not having options. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Matt is with us in San Antonio. Hi, Matt. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you, Dave, and thank you, Christy, for taking my call.
Sure, what's up?
So, the question is, well, a little background, I guess, beforehand. My wife and I were on baby step 2, have about $35K left. Household income is right around 100. With buying back my military time, I work for the federal government currently, so that equals about 12. I have about 9 years left, and I could retire from that. I also own a business that I opened in 2016, and I do that part-time, obviously, after the government work. So my question is actually transitioning from the government job to running my own business full-time. I don't know if I want to finish out the 9 years, mainly because of the work environment itself. I guess we could say like the politics behind it. And then also the commute's kind of pretty rough. It's about an hour both ways. So with that, how much money should we have set aside before making that transition? And then what are the best practices or best steps to kind of make that transition as smooth as possible?
What's your business?
Dog training.
Oh, okay.
Best job in the world.
What is it?
Opinion.
What is it bringing in right now, annually?
Annually, it brings in right around $30,000 to $35,000. Yes.
Okay. And what do you make at the government job?
I make 70.
Okay, so your wife does not work outside the home.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What do you need to live on?
Right now, we're living on about, well, I guess like around like 75-ish, 75 to 80.
Oh, and you're in baby step 2, right? You said you've got some debt to pay off?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
That's right. Well, I'll tell you,
left.
Yes.
I'll tell you what's so great about this side gig generation, starting a side hustle, is you have an opportunity to grow this thing small, and it's already doing well, $30,000 a year, I think is what you said. You have the opportunity to grow this thing while still having the stability of your full-time job. Now, one of the things that we tell people all the time is you want to build this thing up on the side so much that it can support you. Now, because you're in baby step 2, everything's bonus because you're going to pay off your debt faster. But you're building this thing up so that it can support you. You don't want to make this huge, terrifying leap where you just hope the business will support you. Now, the great news is you're doing great. Like you're already making a good, stable amount of money there. But I would continue to build this up to where you're getting it to some of those numbers you're talking about that you need to live on. And then what's so great is it's the next logical step. It's not a terrifying leap whenever you leave the government job. But if I'm you, Matt, I don't want to do something I don't want to do with a bad commute for 9 more years. I don't. I want to really pour my life into this business to where it can make 70, 100 or plus, get yourself out of debt, and then you're doing something you love to do, full time. But it's one of those things where you want to make sure the money's actually there. You don't just hope it's going to be there. You want to build that business up so much that it can support you whenever you're ready to make that transition.
Yeah, what Christy and I always say when we're talking with small business owners and side hustle folks is get the boat close enough to the dock so that you can step into it, not leap and hope you hit it.
Yeah.
And that's so what it amounts to is you're on your way.
Yeah.
So in your case, I think if I were in your shoes, I would set a goal that sounded like this. When I have 3 months in a row of $4,500 or more, and I feel confident that that's going to continue, that puts you in the high $50,000 up to close to $60,000, be $55,000 a year, okay, which is less than you're making now. But so you didn't pull the boat all the way to the dock. You weren't making 75 when you gave up a 70. You don't need to do that. But go ahead and have a really troublesome year because all you do is work between your day job and the dog job.
It's going to feel like you're working 2 full-time jobs because you are.
Yeah.
For a season.
Yeah.
For a season to get through. But let me ask you this, Dave. So is your job seasonal, Matt? Is it? Do you have like real dog training? I don't know. Is it like way busier in the summer and like falls way off in the winter?
To be honest with you, like the whole 14 to 16 hour days is, yes, it's getting long. I actually am able to take off the month of July to spend it with my kids, and then also December. So that's like not even working those 2 months.
Yeah. Well, I don't want you to do this on a wing and a prayer. I want you to prove it to yourself. And so if I were in your shoes, I would want 3 consecutive months of $4,500. And I really don't care if you're tired. Wah. Okay? Because you're not going to do this for very long. What we're trying to do is escape the drudgery of the day job, but we don't want to do it in such a way that we run out of the haunted house and get hit by a car.
Right. But I guess what I was trying to bring up with the seasonal thing, though, is I don't want you to base your decision on 3 consecutive months of $4,500 in a really busy season, and you've got a really slow season coming up, because that's not indicative of what you can expect. We want you to plan based on what you can expect, right?
But what he's saying is the only reason he made it seasonal is because he just took the time off.
Yeah. I see.
So one July and one December. But, if I'm in your shoes, I don't care. You pick the 4 months or the 3 months. I want to prove to myself and my wife that my family, my kids, that we can eat off this thing. Mm-hmm. And you're not there yet. $35,000 doesn't do it for me. You're going to take a pay cut of 65%. I don't think so. To go from 100 to 35. I don't think that's a good plan. But I would take that 36. You're already making $3,000, man. I mean, let's get that up 1,500 more. Let's increase that and prove to yourself some level of stability, and then give your notice and go live your dream. And then have a plan for training dog trainers, so that you have a whole school going and you're making $300,000, not $150,000.
I was going to say $1,500. I mean, that's just one dog. You have a dog for a month. It's about $1,500 to have if they go send them off, and live.
Really?
Yes, about $1,200-1,500. At least here in Nashville, it's up to $2,000. You send a dog for a month. They stay with the trainer for the month. They come home trained. Ask Ao. He did something similar. So that's one dog.
Well, Ao pays all kinds of stuff for stuff like that.
Get you one dog, Matt. Get your one more dog.
One more dog. That's all. You're one dog away, Matt.
If you're charging right. That's a whole other subject. If you're charging right.
That is so great. Yeah, I was on a pheasant pheasant hunt, and that he trains up 15 or 20 dogs and takes them on the pheasant hunt and sells them off. And so he'll sell all those dogs for, I don't know, he's selling them for anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a dog. But he had poured into them like that.
That's
I didn't have any idea what they charged to do that. Those dogs could climb a tree, though. They were unbelievable. They did everything.
Yeah.
They were amazing.
Yeah.
So,
well, for busy people that don't have time to train them or take them once a week to training, they're like, just send them off, bring them back when they're trained.
Wow. Can you do that with kids?
I know, right? I've got 3 candidates. I got 3 candidates in my household I'd like to send off if that's the case, please.
The Christmas is over. All the fun's
That's
over.
right.
We're back to work.
Help me out. Help me out.
Oh, $2,000. I'm so cheap. I've never trained a dog. So, I mean, I've trained them, but I haven't paid anybody to do it.
Right.
So I didn't.
Yep.
I've had dogs smarter than me, but that's a low bar. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, I think you're 1 dog away per month. Yeah. So that's what I would do if I were in your shoes, Matt. I want to get the boat a little closer to the dock. You're jumping, and I'm afraid you're going to get one leg wet, or you may miss the boat completely. I don't want you to. And so I want this thing to be a thing where you did it with wisdom, without a ton of stress, and you're going to be a little tired between now and then. But by the way, when you start a business, you're always a little tired. I had 2 years of 16-hour days in this puppy before I hardly even made a living out of it. And that was a few years back. I don't want to do it again, but I'm not afraid of hard work, and I haven't not done what I'm telling you to do. I have done it.
It's a season. It's a season. It's not forever.
And I worked like I was unemployed. I worked like I was doing it again during COVID to try to keep everything running. So I was back in here again for a month and a half, 2 months at 16 hours. So it's just whatever you have to do to run a business, that's what you do. But usually those are ebb and flow. It's not forever. It's for a period of time to get there. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career.
You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Christy Wright is Ramsey personality co-host of the day. You call in, we'll talk about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Jerry is in Phoenix. Hi, Jerry. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Thank you, Mr. Ramsey. Thanks for taking my call. Appreciate that.
Sure. What's up?
So my wife and I have been we've been listening to you for a while now, and we were able to pay off all of our debt except our house.
Awesome.
We have we've got about 4 years, best we can tell, about 4 years before we pay the house off. We've got a rollover IRA. It's in mutual funds. It's $260,000 in there. We have $25,000 cash, and again, no debt except for the house. My question is this: is it wise, or the negatives, I guess, of taking some of that $260 and putting it into a Roth IRA? What should I do with that? Is that a legit thing to do, or should I leave it alone, or start with new funds and fund a Roth outside of that my $260?
Second answer, yes. I would fund everything from this point forward in a Roth. How old are you?
I'm 52, sir.
52. Okay. Yeah, if you convert it to grow tax-free from this point forward and you pay the taxes without using some of the money to do that, some of the money in the IRA to pay the taxes. In other words, if you paid the taxes that it creates outside of there, so it's going to be about $65,000 at some point, $70,000, something like that. then that has the same mathematical effect of having invested that much more, because now that 250 is going to grow 100% tax-free from 52 on, and it's going to make mathematical sense, provided you plan to leave it alone, and you probably will. Leave it alone up into your 60s and even your 70s is what it sounds like, or the vast majority of it you won't take out. You might take some income off of it, but if you're going to cash the whole thing in at age 59 and a half, it might not work. But you shouldn't do that.
Okay.
You shouldn't be planning to do that. So
No, sir.
so what I would do is get the house paid off, and then I would convert it with extra cash that you have after the house is paid off. But I wouldn't convert it now. You don't need a $65,000 tax bill while you're trying to pay off your house.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Okay, very good. I appreciate your help, sir.
Thank you. We appreciate you calling in. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Caleb is in Daytona Beach, Florida. Hi, Caleb. How are you?
Good. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hey, so I was wondering, right now I'm putting 10% into my 403B through my employer, and they match 3.5%, and they gift 6%.
Nice.
So effectively, that's about 19.5% going in. But my question is, I can afford more. I'm in zero debt right now. I just paid off my car.
Good for you.
Congratulations.
How old are you?
22.
Way to go, Caleb.
Okay.
What do you make?
Just under 50.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good for you. Well done, Caleb. Good job.
Yeah.
Well, what we recommend is that you're debt-free, except your home, or debt-free even without a home, and you're putting 15% of your household income away. In your case, you are not putting that away. You're only putting 10% away, so I would up that another 5%, and you probably could just do a simple Roth IRA yourself, do an individual IRA that's a Roth, in some good mutual funds. Get in touch with one of our SmartVestor pros. They would thoroughly enjoy working with a 22-year-old as sharp as you. That's a great joy for them, because they know that they're going to turn you into a millionaire, because you got so much time in front of you and you're so smart. You've done such a good job. And so, yeah, I would probably do another 5% of your income into something. And that's not going to quite fill up an IRA, but even if you wanted to completely fill up the IRA, you could. It's up to you. You got some room right now. And do a Roth IRA in good mutual funds, good growth stock mutual funds. Growth and income, aggressive growth, and international are the 4 categories that we recommend. Hey, way to go, man. I'm proud of you. Very
it's just
good.
amazing that he's asking those questions at 22.
I
that's
love it.
incredible.
I
Well
love
done.
it. Kevin's in Buffalo, New York. Hi, Kevin. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Thank you for taking my call. I'm 55 years old. I make $75,000 a year washing cars at my home. I have no debt except for rent. I just had a newborn child, so I don't have health insurance for myself. And I'm just trying to. I'm away from Big Brother. I'm living off the land, really. So I want my advice from you. What you recommend as far as me setting up health insurance for my child, and maybe income for my child as she gets older.
Oh, what a good dad. You're thinking on your feet, man. Good for you. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Yeah, the number one cause of bankruptcy in America is not too much debt. That's the number 2 cause. Number 1 cause is not having health insurance. And so I immediately, if I were you, would get health insurance on you and your family. It's not a ripoff. And you can, the way to make it cheap, Kevin, is the big deductible. And the big deductible is, you might do what's called an HSA, a health savings account plan. A lot of those have a $5,000 or a $7,000 deductible, which means the health insurance only kicks in on big stuff. It doesn't kick in on little stuff. Little stuff, you're a hard worker. You can work your way through the little stuff. A $5,000 thing, $2,000 thing, you can work your way through that. But it's the $500,000 quadruple bypass with an ICU visit by you that could break your family. And so that's the one you want covered. That's why you have health insurance. insurance. And so that's what I have. I have a large deductible. I'm 60, large deductible health insurance plan, and it pays 100% of everything after I hit the deductible, and it's an HSA plan. And you can check with go to an insurance broker. You can check them out on our website. You want a broker, that's somebody that'll shop among a bunch of different companies and get the best deal for you in Buffalo, New York, in your situation, and explain all of that to you. But yeah, you need to get health insurance in place immediately for you and the kids, and then you can set up a college fund if you want to start that. Before I did that, though, I would make sure you're out of debt, you have your emergency fund in place, and make sure you're investing for your retirement, because one of the best ways you can bless your kids is not be a burden to them later.
Why do you think that some people are scared of health insurance? Like they feel like it's a ripoff?
Everybody, I think all of us secretly hate all insurance.
Well, for sure. It's not fun.
I mean, it's not even a secret. It's just, we just hate it. And it's just like we pay. And you're never it's never gonna work out. Yeah. But you're buying the peace of mind of that big event that takes you out. That's what you're covering. But generally, we just hate it. And a guy like that's off the grid, he really hates it. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
Thank you, America, for your response to Rachel Cruz's new book. Came out yesterday, Know Yourself, Know Your Money. Now one of the top sellers on Amazon at this moment. Her appearance on Good Morning America this morning did not hurt that, I'm sure. And causing some sales to happen. They were very kind to us there. And good mention and pushes of the book. Thank you. And a good interview, too, by Michael Strahan. Does a great job. And she's done 100 and some odd pieces of media in the past 72 hours. So she's all over the place in your city and everywhere else. Check it out. Know Yourself, Know Your Money. You can, of course, get it at daveramsey.com. We will know in a little over a week whether or not it is a number one bestseller or not, but we suspect it will be based on the number of sales going out of here, and thank you for that. We appreciate that. It's a book that helps you understand why you do what you do with money, which is very important to help you cope with your spouse, why they do what they do, and to help you cope with yourself. The person in your mirror is a bigger problem with your money than the technical questions some of you ask. You get the person in your mirror under control, you can make it through most of the technical stuff. Speaking of which, it is time to reset. Last year, many of you got the crud scared out of you, no pun intended, and you were like, got your wake-up call, and you're thinking, I got to get this money stuff straightened out. It's time for me to reset at the first of the year here. So we're going to have a reset event this coming Tuesday night, and that's on the 12th at 7 p.m. Central Time. We'll be broadcasting a free, did I mention it's free, live stream from Oklahoma City at lifechurch.tv's campus. Rachel Cruz, Chris Hogan, me, and Pastor Greg Groeschel, pastor of Life Church. And all four of us will be speaking throughout the evening. It begins at 7 o'clock. It is completely free. And if you'd like to view this free reset live stream and get yourself on a track to get out of debt, to become wealthy, to become outrageously generous, to get control, get yourself where you're not susceptible to every big bad wolf that comes along and huffs and puffs like a pandemic. A lot of you, if you'd had a big pile of money and no debt last year, would have had a whole different year. And I'm not making fun of you, and I'm not shaming you, but this is your chance to reset. I've had a moment to reset a time or two in my life, and you got some of you were kind of going along at ish. You were doing Ramsey-ish, and this is your chance to reset. Text the word reset to 33789 and watch this free live stream. We'll get you started, guys. We want to help you. We want you to win. We want to show you how to win. Text reset to 33789. And speaking of which, if you go to daveramsey.com/reset, Ramsey Plus has a free offer right now to go through Financial Peace University, get on the Every Dollar budgeting program, and they've got a detailed step-by-step, little small steps you can take, not the baby steps, but little small steps you can take to start to win immediately. In the first 90 days. You're going to see a huge change in the way you feel about money. And Ramsey Plus has a free trial going right now. Access to all of that at daveramsey.com/reset. So a lot of different ways you can reset. Another way you can reset is Christy Wright has a best-selling devotional out called Living True. And it absolutely, this 40-day devotional, she started doing live Instagram for free.
Yeah.
This morning, a live Bible study.
Yeah.
Every morning for 40 days.
Well, it's each section, so I'm going every 10 days to kick off this section.
Okay.
But what's so cool about it, and you know this, Dave, as a writer, everything doesn't make it in here. It's like they edit it down. So it's fun because when I go live, I can share the backstory of the story or some scriptures that supplement and complement the heart behind it, and have a really great discussion where we talk about how you put this into practice and what God's showing you through this area or that area. And so we kicked it off today with day 1. I'll be going live again in 10 days to kick off section 2, where we talk about who you are and what God says about you in his word. And so it's one of those things where it's like it makes it a little bit more personal when I'm able to lead them through it, since I'm the author. So it's been fun.
Well, and since you can put in all the stuff we made you cut out.
That's right.
Because Christy has a lot of words. Christy has words. Words are Christy's thing.
Listen, my first
She does not come up short on word count ever.
Y'all, listen, my first book, Business Boutique,
it would have been thick.
I don't think they thought I could turn in the word count. I was like, oh, challenge accepted. Let me turn in double the word count.
There you go. And then we had to go back and go, this is not a boutique, Christy. This is a freaking shopping mall. We got to take it back to boutique, okay?
It's all important. It's all important.
It's all matters. It's all my words.
Hey, fun fact for those of you guys that have Business Boutique or have seen it, that's the reason for the trim size. That's the reason for the larger trim size, because Dave was like, Christy, this can't be 6 inches thick. Let's spread out the words so it's not so overwhelming.
This looks like a doorstop. We got to fix it. Oh, my gosh. Oh, all right. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Heather is in Orlando. Hi, Heather. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Thank you. First off, I want to say y'all have been such a blessing in my life. I paid off $111,000 worth of debt. I have a fully funded emergency fund, and I've been through Leadership and Business Boutique, and I really appreciate what you guys teach.
Wow,
So,
thank you.
Heather, that's amazing.
You've made a huge difference in my life.
Way to go. I'm proud of you.
I needed good guidance, so that's where you guys all came in.
Thanks.
I feel like your family.
Thank you.
Awesome.
We are. How can we help today?
My husband and I just had a little boy. He's 3 months old.
Yay!
He's awesome. I'm thrilled to be a mom. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed financially, thinking of all the different things to provide for him, college and helping him get on the right path. Also, I just finished the emergency fund, but saving a down payment for a house, putting away money for retirement, putting away money for his college, it all kind of hits at once when you have a little guy. Like, I hear it all in theory on your show, but now it's for real. And I'm just wondering some guidance.
Yeah. So how much you paid off? 100 and how much debt?
$111,000.
Yeah. When you started that snowball that was that tall, that felt unattainable, didn't it?
It sure did.
And then as you chipped away at it, you started going, I think I got this. And as the snowball got bigger and bigger and bigger and you were reaching towards the end of it, you were like, oh, now I see it. I got it. Right? You remember those emotions?
Yep.
Exact same
sure
thing's
do.
going to happen here. Exact same thing's going to happen here. You're going to finish your emergency fund, and you're going to start saving for retirement or a house, whichever you want to do. If you want to do baby step 3B, as you know, you've listened to the theory you said, you can stop everything and save up a down payment, or you can, while you're doing your 15% or some portion towards retirement, up to 15%, you start saving for the down payment on your house. But as you know, and you know the story, Heather, you go baby steps 4, 5, and 6 are at the same time. Once you start doing them, you start doing a little bit towards junior. Make sure you're putting your 15% away, and as you guys make more and more money, you'll put more towards Junior, and Junior is going to be just fine because he's got a really smart mom.
And Heather, I just want to encourage you. You're doing great, and you're okay. Like you are. This is so new, and Heather, I remember those feelings. I remember someone telling me when I was pregnant with my first son, Carter, that when you have a child, it feels like your heart is walking around outside your body. It feels so vulnerable. You feel like the weight of the world on your shoulders. This whole new level of responsibility that is unlike anything you've ever felt before. And that's a little bit of what you're feeling. And I just want to encourage you.
For sure.
You're doing great and you are okay. And part of it is, I'm just going to go on a limb here and say part of this is the fact that you're 3 months out. Like I remember one time when I was reading to Carter, he was maybe 2 months old, and I'm reading this book, and Dave, seriously, I just start crying, imagining him going to college. And he's like 3 months old. You got a lot of hormones, Heather. You got a lot of feelings. Life is overwhelming right now. You're not getting any sleep. So I just want to say, hey, you're okay. You're okay. You're doing a great job, and you're going to continue to do a great job, and you're going to take care of that baby. You're doing awesome.
Just like when you started that snowball, when he is 6, you're going to look back and go, wow, we got this retirement thing going. We got this college thing going. We almost got the house paid off, and we're going to be in great shape, and you're going to feel exactly the same way. As accomplished as you feel right now about debt, you're going to feel that way about his college fund and all these other things you're worrying about. Christy's right. You got this. You're doing a good job. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Folks, it's an honor to tell you about the Army National Guard. Not only are they big supporters of our high school curriculum, but they also give you the opportunity to impact your local communities. Whether your goals are to get an education, serve your country, or have a better life, the Army National Guard can help get you there. Plus, they offer unbelievable financial benefits. Secure your future today. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. Open phones this hour. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. We are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Philip is with us in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hi, Philip. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely. What's up?
Hey, Dave. I had to pull over. I can't believe I'm talking to you. This is awesome. So a little backstory. My parents recently approached me with a possible living situation. They want to move up north, but they don't want to sell their house. So they had offered my wife and I to possibly rent from them. Now I have a home of my own. I still owe approximately $180,000 on it. I'm wondering if I should sell that or not in the coming year. What are your thoughts?
What's it worth?
It's worth about $230. I'm just wrapping up baby step 2 right now. I got about 5,000 left. I think what scares me is not building equity. Renting from my parents. I rented before and I hated it, but the home they have is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's worth about $500,000.
Yeah, that's great. But you're married, right?
I am married, yes, sir.
How many kids you got?
No kids. I'm 24.
Okay. All right. What do you make a year? What's your household income?
120.
If this wasn't your parents, you wouldn't even be considering this.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You wouldn't be driving down the road and go, I'm going to sell my house and rent one.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have happened, would it?
No.
You got a nice house.
My other thought was I'd keep my house and I would rent it out. I see this money, chiseling at this debt, and now I want to do it with my mortgage,
Yeah, but I think this is a distraction. You don't need a house. You have a house. And you don't need to be a renter. You own a home. And you don't need to sell your home because you're not in financial trouble. You make plenty of money to pay for this house. You were hitting all your financial goals. Everything's working. And all of a sudden we're making a hard left on two wheels. I don't see why you would do this. I don't know what you're gaining by doing this. I mean, you're not gaining big traction. It's not like it's going to throw you forward in your financial goals. It's.
Let me actually ask that. Why were you considering it? To help your parents because their house is nicer? Like, what was going through your head as like a possibility?
A little bit of that. Yeah, their house is very nice. My wife and I are potentially thinking of starting a family. The schools are really nice in that area. And, the home is beautiful. I really like the home. I can never afford that home right now, right? If I would just buy it outright. I think my dad owes $80,000 left on it. Very modest mortgage. I'd basically be covering his expenses while he would move up north.
Okay, you're in Milwaukee. What is north of Milwaukee? Canada, right?
Good point.
2.5 hours.
Canada?
2.5 hours away. No, not that far. He's
Just
not
about. Canadian. Oh, my gosh. Okay. I'm from the South, so that's funny to me. Okay. Anyway. All right. I don't think this serves you and your family. I think you guys sticking with your plan serves you and your family better. 10 years from now, what will have been the right decision? And I think 10 years from now, you will probably sold this house and moved to a different school system. You'll be making a lot more money. Oh, by then you would have a 10-year-old in school. Now you don't even have a child. And you can't really start thinking about school systems like 8 years before you need one. You don't need to worry about that today. Your home in your current situation is going to go up in value. You're going to pay it down. You're on track. I think you're going backwards to sell your house and become a renter. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it sounds like a short-term play that doesn't make any sense versus a long-term play that makes a whole lot of sense. And I think you're just getting distracted, just like Dave said. I think you're getting distracted by the fact that it's your parents and their house is nice. If they weren't your parents, you wouldn't even be considering something like this. And so they approached you with an opportunity, and it's just not what is in the right path for you. Yeah. It doesn't make sense for what you're trying to do and what you need to do right now.
Yeah, that's. Hey, thanks for the call. You're doing good.
Yeah.
Stephen is in Los Angeles. Hi, Stephen. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. Yeah, it's exciting to be able to talk to you.
You too.
I was listening to you yesterday, and you were talking about whole life insurance. And so I got motivated, and I went ahead and signed up for a term life program. And I have a whole life insurance policy that I'm wanting to get rid of. It's got a cash value of about $36,000 in it. Do I just go ahead and cancel that policy and then they send me a check and then, I've already been approved for my current 20-year term. How do I go about kind of maneuvering through this?
I would wait till you have the term policy in your hand.
Okay.
You've been approved. The application's been approved, but the policy's not been delivered. I want the policy in your hand, and then yes, you just simply cancel it. You can send them a note. You can send them a letter. You can jump on. Most of the places have online ability to cancel now and that kind of stuff, but just enter in to cash it out. They're going to fight you because they don't like to cash these things out. They like taking your money. And so one of the things they're going to come at you with is that you're going to have taxes, and there's a very high likelihood you're not going to have taxes. And I'll go ahead and answer that question before it comes up. Okay? And here's the reason. Your basis for taxes, meaning anything over what your basis is what you pay taxes on a whole life policy, is the total of all the premiums you've paid in. In 90% of the cases, you pay in more premiums than you will ever get out. And so my guess is that if you add up all the premiums you've ever paid, it's far in excess of $36,000. Does that sound accurate to you?
Yeah, in terms of I just went through and did some quick math with my monthlies that I've been paying over the years, and it does add up.
Yeah, it's more. If it's more than $36,000, you will have no taxes because your basis then would be higher than $36,000. So you're actually taking a loss, which you cannot claim on your taxes because of the way these stinking things are structured. But anyway, at least you're not going to have any taxes. So if they come at you and go, "Oh, you don't want to cash it out, you may have taxes. Capital gains could hit you," you're not. You don't have to worry about it because you're not making any money. You're losing money. And all we're doing now is stopping the loss by getting rid of it. But I would wait until you have term life policy in your hand. You want to do a solid exchange. You don't want to drop one and 3 days before you get your policy and then have a car wreck and something weird like that.
Well, because it's a couple of weeks. I mean, it's a few weeks. You got to have your physical, and sometimes.
Well, he said the application's been approved, is what he said. So it may be forthcoming, but. Either way, just wait till you have the little policy in your hand, and then you will be considered covered, and you know that you're covered. You know that you're covered. That's the big thing. So, yeah, it's not going to be long. But if it's just made application and they're going to go through a physical and everything else, with COVID, it may take a while.
Yeah.
So some of these app processes have slowed way down. So, hey, guys, inviting you to Christy Wright's new Bible study she's doing.
You make it sound so official.
It is official.
Going live on Instagram.
Well, I mean, when you do stuff on Instagram, it's pretty official. I'm just saying. And so a lot of people follow Christy Wright on Instagram. So Living True, 40 Days to Get Back to You, the 40-day devotional. She's going to be covering the devotional time in the mornings. Is it every morning or once a week?
Once every 10 days. I kick off a new section. It's at Christy B. Wright.
Oh, at Christy B. Wright on once every 10 days. So you did this morning, so 10 days from now.
That's right.
We'll do a new section.
That's right.
And the devotional bestseller is called Living True, Getting Back to You. And you do not want to miss out on this. It's good stuff. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Laura is with us in Spokane, Washington. Hi, Laura. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. Happy New Year. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. Happy New Year to you. What's up?
So, first I have to say that me and my husband are in our current financial situation due to your steps, but kind of through my dad. My dad always preached appreciated your advice. He was always my go-to person, but he's recently passed away, so I'm hoping that Papa Dave can bless or advise what next steps to do.
Okay.
And he's up in heaven just smiling right now that I even got a hold of you. So it's an honor. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm honored.
But my husband and I were in our early 30s, and we're wondering what we should do with a settlement check. We'll be getting one, and then our minor children will be getting another one. We're on baby step 6. Our household income is $190. We're already putting 16% into our retirement and $150 per month per child in a 539. And so what we were really going to focus on these next 4 years is paying our mortgage off.
Yep.
Do we throw the settlement check for us at the mortgage or invest it?
What's the nature of the settlement? Where did it come from?
It's a personal injury.
Is everyone fully healed?
No.
Okay. Are you going to need some of it for medical?
I think we'll be okay with our income.
Okay.
Because we've been able to do it without so far.
So like something
It'll
like a
just be
car wreck
an
type
extra
situation?
blessing.
Something like a car wreck? Or,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But how many people were injured?
2. So,
So a minor child and one of you?
yes.
Okay.
So the minor child we want to put in a trust and invest. We just don't know kind of how to do that.
How much is
and
the
I'm just kind of
settlement?
mad at this. $25,000
Yeah. Okay.
for ours.
Yeah. Do they for each?
She'll be getting 50.
Okay. All right. But the medical care that remains, you guys plan to cash flow.
Correct.
And you, without any doubt, there's no question you're going to be able to do that. So you're considering this money, quote, free and clear of the tragedy.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
But I'm kind of mad at the check, if you will, just because of the whole events that have happened.
Oh, sure.
So I don't really know. I don't know what. I don't have emotional attachment to it because we've always earned our money.
Yeah.
So
that's okay. That's okay. I understand. I mean, but it's just a mess. I mean, people got hurt, and obviously.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really hard. It's been hardest with watching our child suffer. It's been the hardest part. So I think just ongoing counseling is going to be the main thing, and we'll be able to cash flow that with our income.
Sure.
But we
okay.
just
Well, in your case, yes, I would throw it at the mortgage. It's a no-brainer. Any money we get goes on the applied baby step. Okay. In the case of the child, the money is in the child's name. It's a lot of money in one way, but with your financial situation, it's really not a lot of money. It's okay. I mean, it's you can put it into a trust, and that would allow you to manage it further up into their adulthood if you wanted to. If you put it just into their name, that is called an UTMA, UTMA, and that's simply opening a mutual fund in a kid's name. Okay. And and you would name yourself as the custodian, and you can choose what to do with the money and move it around. It's all for the benefit of the child. Obviously, a Uniform Transfer to Minors Act, which is actually, if you open a child's bank account, that's the same thing. It's done under that exact same piece of law, okay? Because you cannot own a bank account or contract for anything until you're 18 years old. And so if a 7-year-old has a bank account, they really don't. It's really in the 7-year-old's name, but it has mom and dad as the custodian on the account, and the same thing's true of a mutual fund. It's how we used to do before 529s and ESAs. It's how we used to do college funds back in the day. It's how my kids' college funds were structured, because that was before those things opened up. So anyway, you can just put it in a mutual fund. The downside of that is that it will be 100% available to the child at 21. It's their money.
Okay.
And you're no longer in control. So you're going to have to train them that this money is there and it is a responsibility. They didn't hit the lottery.
Absolutely.
And if you want to do that, that's how I did my kids. That's fine. If you're, because of the counseling that's going on here and the tragedy and that kind of stuff, if you're more worried about that, you want to put it into a trust, it's probably going to cost you more taxes in a trust than it will in an UTMA.
Oh, okay. More taxes.
Yeah,
Thank
probably. But, I mean, you'd have to see your tax guy to be sure. But a lot of the way, depending on how this trust is structured, you can get into a thing where the trust is paying ordinary income on that, and the UTMA could grow on a capital gains basis. And so you may have less taxes with the UTMA than you would with the trust, but you lose control at 21, technically speaking. Now, we told our kids the money was there. Good luck finding it. If you're a cocaine addict, we will steal it from you. So, to protect you from you. But we're those kinds of parents, and so that's what we have done. But it worked out. Our kids, we started talking to them about, hey, you've got this money that's for your college, and whatever's left over after college, you'll have it. And so it was an opportunity for us to have a teachable moment, teaching them when they start to be 10, 12 years old about, they start to do multiplication. You can teach them about mutual funds. And it gives you an opportunity. I mean, Christy, you're already talking with your little ones, and they're little, and Rachel's already teaching her little ones the basics on money. Mm-hmm. And you look for things in the rhythm of life to have an opportunity to teach them.
Yeah, and it's some simple stuff, too. I mean, Carter's 5 years old now, but since he was even 3, I trained him. I said, Carter, where does money come from? He says, work. I was like, that's right, bud. He's like, I need some. I want to go buy this. I was like, great, go to work. What do you want to clean? I need help.
Well, and that would be, Laura, that'd be you just continuing your dad's legacy. Obviously, he did that with you. He taught you about it, and so you guys are making a ton of money. You've been very responsible with money. You're down to baby step 6. You don't have any debt but your house. You're investing. You've got kids' colleges going. You've got everything rolling, and that's your dad's legacy. He taught you how to do that, and way to go. That's very, very cool. And now you're going to get to pass that on to your child with this money, and it'll be part of the emotional and spiritual healing of this thing you guys have gone through, to see the money as a blessing instead of seeing it as a reminder, as a I don't know, a payoff or something. It doesn't need to be emotionally associated with a bad thing. We can change that if we choose to in the discussion and the narrative of how we deal with the teaching about it. But either way, you got to do that, whether it's a trust or whether it's a just in an UTMA. But I probably, as far as that part goes, I probably just sit down with your SmartVestor Pro and talk that through with them. They can probably give you some advice about the taxes that's more accurate than mine. I'm not very good at taxes. I don't do my own. So never trust Dave's tax advice. It sucks. There's about 5 things I know about taxes, and I'm 100% right on those, and the rest of them, I don't know. I almost made a mistake on my stuff this week, and I stopped and had the accountant look at it, and he went, no. And I went, oh, see, there it is. And dadgummit. Okay. There's a weird little thing, though. Anyway, hey, I'm sorry you guys went through this, and I'm glad you got the blessing, the financial blessing from having gone through the hard time. That puts this hour of the Dave Ramsey Show in the books. Our thanks to James Childs and Kelly Daniel in the booth. I am Dave Ramsey, your host, and we will be back. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career.
You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where dad is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Mary in McAllen, Texas starts off this hour. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Hi, Dave. How are you? Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Okay, so I, hopefully, God willing, about next month, I should get baby step 3 done, 6 months of expenses for emergency fund. My question is, because my 6 months of expenses is basically the same as what's left to pay off on the mortgage, should I use that fund to pay off the mortgage early and then build up my 6 months expenses all over again? Because with that mortgage bill gone, it'll be a lot easier to build up 6 months expenses.
Unless you had an emergency in the meantime.
Right. So I have 1 month emergency expenses in cash here in my home, but the rest of it is the 6 months, other 6. So technically I'll have 7 months.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't have 7. I would have 6 as a max. Okay. You can have anywhere in the range of 3 to 6, but I would not go below 3. Paying off your home is exciting, but it is not an emergency.
Okay.
And I don't want you to have a paid-for home and have an emergency and no money.
Okay, I agree.
So let's just take a little bit more time and get the house paid off. But if you want to dial it down to 3 months and you're comfortable with that from 6 or 7, then use that 4 towards the idea, then yeah, that could move you forward. I'd be okay with that, but I wouldn't go below 3 months emergency fund. The baby steps are in that order for the reason that being debt-free other than your home, having your emergency fund in place, those are foundational things to create stability in your life when crap happens like pandemics.
You know, this is your fault. You get people so excited, they just want to pay it off so fast. I have had this call every time I'm on the show with you. Can I use this money, this savings, whatever, to pay off my home early? They go to these extremes. It's because you get them so motivated and you get them so worked up, and then they're just ready to do all the steps all at one time. This is your fault.
It is my fault. It is my fault. So I get the opportunity to clarify what I really meant. But yeah.
It's awesome that she's excited, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's awesome.
And here's the thing. The truth is, if I was sitting in that situation, that's the exact question I'd be asking. Yeah. Because I'd want to be done.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Yeah,
I want to run.
I can see the finish line.
I want to run through that tape on the finish line. Right. I want to finish. I want my time to be over. I want to be done. I want to move on to the next thing. Check that box. Have accomplished that goal. And I am Rachel talks about in her new book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money, the scarcity people and the abundance people. Mm-hmm. Scarcity people do not ask this question.
Yep.
Abundance people ask this question.
That's right.
Because abundance people assume there's not going to be an emergency.
That's right.
During the time that you don't have an emergency fund.
That's right. I saw Rachel put something on Instagram. This is a couple weeks ago, and it was a picture of a gas tank where it's like half empty, and it's like, I need to fill up. And then there's another gas tank that's on E, and it's like, I got plenty of room. That is me. I run on fumes. My husband's filling up if he's got any amount of gas gone. It's so true. We just look at this same amount completely different. Isn't that funny?
It is. But that's a... and again, there's nothing wrong with being an abundance person. There's nothing wrong with being a scarcity person, but you just always know who's asking that question.
That's right.
And you don't want to go too far on the extremes because that's where you find the toxicity on any of these tendencies that Rachel talks about. But that's one of them. That's a good spectrum right there to think about when you're looking at questions like this. Is it because I'm an abundance person? Because abundance people like me and you, we think we can out-earn our stupidity.
Oh, I told Matt the other day, I go, see, money's just so fluid. You just go get more. And he's like, what is this hand motion? What is this?
What is this? What is this thing with get more?
It goes out.
It's like
it comes
cheer.
in. It goes out. It comes in.
Go get more. Go get more.
He's like, yeah, no.
And he's like, who are you? Right, I don't even know who you are.
Right, exactly.
This is great.
But I love your answer there. I want to go back to that really quickly. I love your answer because it doesn't have to be all or nothing. She's got 7 months emergency fund. She can have 3 months emergency fund, take 4 months worth, put it towards the mortgage, and she's well on, she's making a huge leap there. That's
almost
right.
there.
Yeah.
If 6 months does it, 4 months is coming pretty close.
That's right.
So knock her out. Get her done. William is with us in Jackson, Mississippi. Hi, William. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I'm planning on graduating from college in the next this time next year. Actually,
Congratulations!
I'll be debt free from student loans.
Wow!
I won't have a loan, and I have a full time job that's lined up for this time next year, starting at about $75,000 a year with 401k options and benefits.
Good.
My question is, what should I do when looking for getting a new house or starting to look for my first home? Currently, I want to live outside the city limits because inner city Texas, where I live, is tremendously larger than it would be outside the city limits. So what do you suggest I should do for my first house?
Okay, well, you've established one thing you want. You know what you want. You want to be outside the city. The first thing I would tell you is you don't have to be in a hurry. I'm okay if you wait a year or two. I don't want you to be a renter your whole life, but you are not being like crazy man, or you're not stupid or something by not buying a house immediately, because the first couple of years out of college is one of the most transitional times of most people's lives. New jobs, new relationships, all kinds of things going on, and a home is a very permanent type decision. It's something that's not easy to undo. You can buy a car and get rid of a car pretty easy by the end of the week, right? But a house, you buy it, you're going to, it takes a little while to get rid of that thing if you got the wrong one or something. And so, first thing I would do is not buy for the first 6 months out of school. Maybe the first year out of school. And maybe even more is okay, but at least 6 months. Between 6 months and a year is fine, somewhere in there. The second thing then is when you get ready to buy a home, take your time in searching and really researching. It's a large purchase, and when we teach business people in leadership decision-making skills, one of the things we teach them is he with the most options and the most information wins the negotiation and wins a good decision. If you look at two houses and you pick one out, that's like going on a date with a girl 2 times and getting married. Okay? And so, you don't want to do that. We want to take our time, get to know this area, look at several properties. I'm looking at a second home situation right now, and I probably looked at 60 properties in that area. Of course, I enjoy it. I'm a real estate guy, but I look at a lot of properties. I learn the square foot prices. I learn where the popular side of the tracks is, and the popular side of those tracks is, and down into the cul-de-sacs, and what's the differences. And I want to learn and 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 learn, and then you'll make a better decision. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices. And they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Thank you for joining us, America. We're glad you're here. Ezra is with us in Chicago. Hi, Ezra. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain considering how the year's been last year. So it's been pretty, I would say 2020 was the worst year of my life. Made some pretty poor financial decisions. and having to pay for those now, and just looking for the best way to get out of that.
Cool. I understand. I've been there myself, brother. How can we help?
So about $80K in debt, making currently about $27,000 to $3,000 a month. Just recently was promoted to area manager, so I'll be starting that in April, and that pays very nicely. I'll get a startup bonus, a moving bonus as well. So I'll be making about 55, 60K plus the startup bonuses. But definitely looking to get out of, just get out of debt. Because I've actually never been in debt before in my life, so this is a whole new experience for me.
What kind of debt is it?
And so it is, some of it, it's kind of like all over, because with 2020, I applied for a number of things, such as from rent to utilities, and I applied for just different aid, and some of it was supposed to be granted, but for whatever reason it was denied. I bought a car, and that I ended up returning that, because that was just very, it was not a wise decision, looking back.
So what is the $80,000? Break it down for me. What do you owe $80,000 to?
Okay. So for the car, I owe about $20,000.
And that's a repo fee? That's the deficit on the repo?
Right.
Okay.
Right. I turned it in.
Got
I
it.
gave it back to them.
Well, it's a voluntary repossession, so you owe $20,000 deficit. You lost $20,000 on the transaction. So what's the next thing?
Okay, so the next thing, I have about $10,000 in student loan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have about $8,000 in housing. So I was actually supposed to be approved for that amount during 2020, and so I wasn't worried about it.
You mean unpaid rent, bad rent on a place you used to live?
Right, at a place I used to live.
Okay, so you got you have a landlord you owe, an old landlord you owe $8,000 to.
Right, which they were surprised too, because they were like, "We don't know what happened."
It doesn't matter. That's part of your screw up. You believe the crap out of the government. Okay, so that's only $38,000. What's the rest of this?
Okay, so then I have unemployment. They want to collect what they helped me with during 2020. I feel like it was their mistake, and I've tried arguing it with them. They're just like, just set up a payment plan because you have to pay.
So you got more unemployment than you were due, according to them.
Yeah.
How much?
$7,000 total.
Okay. What's the rest of this?
Okay, so then about 54. Let me see, altogether, 13 in credit card debt.
Mm-hmm.
And actually that's it.
That's 58. That's not 80.
Okay, you're right. I sorely miscalculated that.
Okay, good. That's good news.
That's a good miscalculation.
We've already gotten rid of a bunch of debt.
Well done. This call is going great.
All right. So the old landlord and the unemployment and the car repo, and for that matter, even the student loan, do not require payments today. You can put the student loan on hardship deferral. Tell the rest of them you're already in default. These are things you didn't pay that you should have paid or shouldn't have ever taken out. And so you're not paying payments on any of those things right now. That leaves you only with credit card debt. Okay? For right now, first. And so chop up all your credit cards. We're going to get you on a budget. We're going to tear into these credit cards as fast as we can. And listen, you get no life. Because last year you made a mess, and this year you got no life because you're going to be doing nothing but working all the time. 6 jobs. You're not going to go out to eat unless you're working in a restaurant. You are not going to go on vacation for dadgum sure. You are broke and deeply in debt. You need to get in attack mode. Do you agree?
I agree. 100%.
80 hours a week, 6 jobs, delivering pizzas, Uber Eats. I don't care what you're doing, cutting grass, blowing leaves. I don't care what you're doing, man. You're going to make some money, and you're going to take your regular job too, and you're going to work all the time. No partying, none allowed. I don't even care if you have a social life at all. I just want you to work for 1 year, and you can clean this whole freaking mess up in 1 year. But at the end of the year, you're going to be really tired, and you're going to be free. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay with me.
You got to go bananas, okay? So then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and knock these credit cards out, list them smallest to largest, pay minimum payments on all of them except the smallest one. Put every dollar you can squeeze out of your budget on that smallest one, then every dollar on the next one until it's gone, then every dollar on the next one until it's gone. When all the credit cards are gone, then we're going to take these other debts and list them smallest to largest and begin to work your way through them. By the way, you're going to pay off that $13,000 of credit cards in about 2 months.
Okay.
Because you're not going to do nothing else. And you're going to be working a lot, so the current income that you have is going to almost double.
Yeah.
And you're going to throw it every dollar you're going to eat and keep your lights on and take a shower and go back to work. And that's all you're going to do until you get this mess cleaned up. And if you do that, dude, I can get you through this in 12 months. But you're going to have to be with it, man. I mean, you're playing for the Super Bowl. There's no let up. It's game on. You're going to leave it all on the field, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
So you knock those credit cards out, you're going to reach over and knock that landlord out pretty quick, then that unemployment, then we'll reach over and we can start the student loans up. And by the way, I want you to save up about $5,000 when you get down in that stuff and offer that car a $5,000 settlement on that repo. You can settle those repos for about $0.25 on the dollar.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we just got rid of another $15,000 in debt when you get down there. But let them sit over there and cook a little while you work on the rest of this, and don't call them until you got the $5,000 saved. And say, and don't tell them you have a dime more than that. I got $5,000. That's all I've got. If you'll take that, I can make this go away today. If you won't take that, I can't do anything. I'll just have to wait. Don't make payments on that repo.
Okay.
Settle it in a lump sum with a settlement and an argument.
Okay.
They're used to losing money on repos. It's why they don't like them. And so, then you've learned your lesson, right? You're not going to do this kind of stuff anymore.
Learned my lesson.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's two lessons in your story from me. If I'm reading your tea leaves, lesson number 1 is we don't buy cars unless we pay cash. Period. As a matter of fact, we don't buy anything unless we pay cash for the rest of your life. If this is the worst mistakes you ever make in your life, you're going to be a multimillionaire.
Okay.
If you learn from them. But if you go back and make the same stupid mistake again, then you're going to be what's called normal. People that say the same dadgum thing over and over again and can't figure out why they're broke. So don't be that guy, okay? The second lesson is you were hoping that someone was coming to help you. You thought the Lone Ranger was coming. You thought the cavalry was coming. And you thought unemployment was a gift. And you thought the landlord was going to get a free gift from the government. And you thought, and none of it worked. When you wait on the government to fix your life sucks, people. You cannot wait on Washington to fix your life or anyone in government. You have to take control of it. These are the 2 lessons from your story, Ezra. Hold on, I'm going to put you on hold and send you a copy of the Total Money Makeover to show you how to do this.
Cliff and I joined Christian Healthcare Ministries because we really liked the concept of Christians sharing each other's burdens. And we really experienced that firsthand when Cliff was diagnosed with heart disease. It was just such a relief to know that financial burden was going to be taken care of.
CHM is the original and longest-serving health cost-sharing ministry. Get started today and check us out at chministries.org.
Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Sean is with us in Chicago. Sean, I see on my screen you're debt-free. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dave.
Well done. How much did you pay off?
$32,124 in about 27 months.
Very good. How long did this? You said 27 months. And what was your range of income during that time?
I float right around 90,000. I'm in sales, so I peak a little below that, a little above that sometimes.
Gotcha. Well done. Well done.
Well, thank you.
What kind of debt was the $32,000?
Oh, it was all the normal stuff. Unfortunately, I had reached the stage of insanity and repeated this a few times, many more times than I care to admit. But this is the final time, and I put, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. So it was a car. I had a couple of credit cards that went to settlements. Had a couple of family loans. I had some medical debt that came up for some minor surgery that I had. It was all over the board.
Okay. Wow. Well, good for you, man. So what started all this 27 months ago? Because you're a man on a mission.
Yeah, I had a job where I had a company car, and because of some of the past history with my money, it was the only car that I had. So when I left that job, I needed a car, and unfortunately, I went out and financed one, which was the quote-unquote normal thing to do, but thankfully this time I went out and got a used one at least. And the bank charged me 17.24% interest on the car. And for me, that was an I've had it moment. And I started to think about my daughter and the amount of times that I've gone through this. And this was it for me. So August 4th, 2018, I wrote down my money makeover plan after reading your Total Money Makeover book. And so I want to thank you for the process and the wisdom and the guidance that you've given me to help me change my life, really.
Well, thank you. You did it. I'm so proud of you. Very well done, sir. Very well done. How's it feel now that you're free for the last time?
Well, it feels amazing. I feel kind of like the wave was crushing me before, and maybe I'm on top of the wave now, but I guess I'm still not used to not having any debt. I mean, I just finished paying it off in November, so I'm ready. I'm ready for the wave to help me build that fully funded emergency fund, and so I'm still a little anxious, but I'm glad it's done.
Yeah.
And baby step 2's behind me.
That's right.
You've been so intense, it feels a little bit surreal when you get the other side of it.
It feels weird. I mean,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Dave, I'm 48. My whole life I've been terrible with money, and it was a lot of it was around cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just being done with cars and buying new cars, and then rolling that in the next cars. And for whatever reason, just throughout my life, it hasn't been my strong point, but it is now. My daughter, who's be 16 in May, she's probably sick of hearing me talk about it. But I'm so thankful for all the free information that the podcast provides, and the Every Dollar Plus app is amazing. I've never budgeted before in my life until I started using Every Dollar, and now I do it every month.
Wow,
that's awesome.
It's just part of my routine. It's a totally different way of thinking, and it's changed my life, honest to gosh.
And now you get to keep your money, Sean. When you get paid, you get to keep your money. You're not sending it backwards to all these bills and all your hard work. You actually get to keep it. And like you said, work on this baby step 3. But man, what an awesome moment where you get to let that sink in, that your money is yours. You get to keep it.
So what do you tell people the secret to getting out of debt is? Because you have been very successful.
Yeah, for me, this program has opened my mind, my heart, to a lot of different things. I had to submit to a new way of doing things, and really a proven plan. So for me, that was the biggest thing, was just kind of letting go. I I have a side hustle where I install wireless security cameras, and I'll just give you a quick example of how my mindset has changed. At first, I was Davish, so I still had a couple of credit cards, and I went out and bought some cameras that were on sale because they were 25% off, and I thought that would be great for my inventory, but I bought them on a credit card. And they sat on my dining room table, and I just said to myself, I wouldn't have done that had I not had the credit cards, because I didn't have the cash to purchase them. So I took them back, and that day I shredded the credit cards.
There you go.
And closed the accounts.
Ding, ding.
It's amazing. It's amazing how you make decisions differently when you take debt off the table, when it's not an option, just like you said, Sean, just like you did.
That's powerful, dude.
And the most gratifying piece, Dave, is that I changed my family tree. You know?
Amen. So what's your daughter's name?
It's Ashlyn. Ashlyn. Ashlynn.
Okay. So is she there to scream with you?
She is. She's
all right. Very good. Well, we've got a copy of Chris Hogan's book for you, Everyday Millionaires, and you're definitely going to be one. That's the next chapter in your story, my brother. I'm proud of you. Very, very well done. All right, Sean and Ashlyn, $32,000 paid off in 27 months, making $90,000. Changed forever. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, love it!
Awesome.
Love it, love it, love it.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That means even if you mess up, you measure wrong, you pick the wrong color, it's ugly, they will remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run all the time, you save even more. Always use the promo code Ramsey.
Today's question comes from Al in New York. My wife and I are debt-free and have $200,000 between stocks and 401k. She's a real estate agent, and I'm a utility worker in New York City. Over the last year, I took my online fitness coaching business off the ground, and its monthly income is sometimes higher than my regular job. We have a paid-off house on the Greek Athens Riviera, and my wife and I are considering moving there. She is Greek and would work in real estate there. Should I quit my job and work on the business remotely? How do I get over the fear of losing security benefits and a guaranteed paycheck, as well as fear of failure? That's a lot. That's a lot going on there, Dave.
Yeah, there's a lot happening there. Well, the problem is you are not changing one thing. You're changing everything.
Everything.
I mean, she does not have a real estate career there. She'd have to start from scratch. You do not have a fitness career there. You'd be starting from scratch, except what you can do remotely. And so you're not giving up one job, you're giving up 3 when you leave and starting fresh on things you know about. But what I would consider is I would want to have some money saved to get you through the first 6 months. Not the emergency fund. In addition to that, I'd want to have a nest egg of some kind. I don't mind you giving up your secure job as long as you're moving to something where you have a proven track record of making money, and you don't in Greece.
Right. Right. And what's interesting is I love this last question. How do I get over the fear of losing security benefits and a guaranteed paycheck, as well as the fear of failure? You know, Dave, one of the questions I get all the time, and I know you've heard me talk about this, is how do I know, is it fear or wisdom? If you've got some legitimate concerns and a basis for them, that's wisdom. That's not fear you should just push into and do it scared. This is like, no, let's pay attention and do this smart.
Yeah. If you had the income from real estate and the fitness career going that was equal to what it is in the States, it would be irrational fear.
Right.
But this is rational fear.
Right.
I'm afraid reading your story. I want you to have a lot more of these holes plugged before you do this move. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. scripture of the day, Romans 5, 3, and 4. More than that, we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. Winston Churchill said, there is no time for ease and comfort. It is time to dare and endure. This is no time for ease and comfort. It is time to dare and endure. Tia is with us in Roswell, Georgia. Hi, Tia. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, thank you for taking my call, and I respect both of your opinions so much. So,
well, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. I'm trying to decide if I'm crazy for thinking about expanding the business right now with everything that's going on with COVID. So I'm a reflexologist, and right now I rent a room inside an office space to work out of, and I'm paying $250 a month. But in April, the lease will be up there. The lady that I'm renting from is not renewing another 5-year lease. So I feel like it's an opportunity for me to grow and expand. And I'm looking at getting a whole office suite that has, well, the one I was looking at has 7 offices because it's a better deal than the ones that only have like 3 or 4 offices. And then renting out the other rooms as I rent the room now, because normally you can rent a room for about $400 or $500, but with everything that's going on with COVID, I don't know if that's just crazy or if it is actually a good time to grow.
Well, it's not really growing your business. You're getting in the subleasing business.
Yes, but I do want to become a health coach eventually, and then I would have another office as well, because with 7 offices, I could rent, if I rented 5 of them for $400 or $500, that would more than cover the rent.
Yeah, but now you're in the real estate business. Why don't you just stay in your business and rent 2 offices?
Yeah.
There aren't 2 offices available. And the problem is, if I just rent a room, then I'm going to be paying $500 for full time in the area that I'm looking.
Yeah, but if any of those other rooms are empty out of those 7, you're going to be paying $900.
Or they don't pay their rent.
Well, it's just $1,800 for the rent for that office.
I know, but if they're all empty or not paying because their businesses didn't operate while yours did, you now have $1,800 worth of rent because you got in the real estate business.
It's a risk.
Yeah, and that's where I'm wondering if it's crazy or not.
I don't know if it's crazy, but I just think you're confusing it with your actual business
Is that
goals.
what you want to do? Is that if you want to grow your business, you can grow your business, and it has nothing to do with you renting out other offices to other businesses.
Well, I would like to grow in that way as well, because I would like to have a wellness center at some point. And the lady that I rent from now, I was asking her about it and how it's worked for her. And she said in the 10 years that she's been in Roswell, she's never had to pay her rent because people that rent rooms from her more than cover it, because she's a massage therapist. So I'd be, that could be part of it.
Here's what I would say in this whole renting out of the rooms idea, and I want Dave to jump in. He's definitely the real estate expert. But let's just say that you do want to have this additional space. You find a space and something other than this 1 or 7 options, something in between like Dave and I are talking about, and you find a place that has 2 to 3 rooms that you can afford all 3 rooms if all 3 rooms are not rented out, and then anybody you get to rent rooms 2 and 3 is bonus money for you. But you're not going to put yourself in a position to hope and pray and wish that these other rooms are rented out. Is that
exactly? You're gonna be sitting there more fretting about rentals than you are fretting about running your business.
It's going to suck the joy out of your business.
Yeah. You need to have a total rent that if nobody is there but you, that does not put you out of business. $1,800 puts you out of business, and you're going from $250 now to $500 for 1 or 2, or to $1,800. I mean, if you want to go on up to $700 or $1,000 or something and have 4 rooms or something like that, that's fine. But I think that you're taking on too much here, and I think you're going to get distracted. You need to focus on being a reflexologist, not a real estate broker.
Yeah, and when you're spending all your time and your energy focusing on this real estate stuff that you don't know anything about, by the way, this is something you have to. There's a learning curve to this. It's taking away from you potentially growing and expanding to this health studio you're talking about wanting to add. That's going to take time and energy too. You're trying to do too many things.
If you had 2 or 3 rooms and you get that operating successfully and you make some money, and then you go to a different model and you say, okay, now I want to build my wellness center, or now I want to rent out something and create a wellness center. Now you've got a step. You've taken some baby steps to get there rather than this leap. I'm afraid this is going to set you back because I'm afraid it's harder than it sounds to you. As a matter of fact, I know it's harder than it sounds to you to keep these things full of people who pay their rent, because it's a process to learn to put the right people in a building as a landlord, and not just believe everybody that walks up and says, yeah, I can pay the rent. Tim is with us. Tim's in Lima, Ohio. Hi, Tim. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for taking my call. I'm an officer in the United States Army and through the Army National Guard in Indiana. And I just got offered a $20,000 retention bonus for 3 years, 3 additional years of service. And I currently, my 2 major debts are my student loan, which is I think $700, and a car, which is $28,000. And I was wondering that since we're in the COVID season and interest rates for my student loan are at 0, and I'm technically in forbearance, even though I'm making payments on it, should I take this $20,000 bonus, which will roughly be about $14,000 after taxes, and put it towards the student loan, or should I put it towards the car, which I'm still accruing interest in?
Yeah. What do you make a year?
Well, I'm actually, as an officer, I make about $12,800, and then as a defense contractor, I make roughly around $90,000 a year. So in the end, I'll come home with overtime, about $115,000.
Yeah. This car is not completely in the crazy zone, but it's close.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I would pay off your student loan with your bonus, and then I would either get in attack mode and get that car paid off in about 18 months, or I'd sell it and move down, one of the two.
Right.
But the interest on it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you lean into both of these things and knock them out one way or another as fast as you possibly can. I mean, of all the things you told me about your whole life, the thing that doesn't fit in the sentence is this car. Thank you for your service, by the way.
Yes.
I mean, you're very critical thinking skills on everything, but then you lost your mind one day and bought a car. I mean, it's the student loan's not out of hand. It's not a good thing. I'm glad you're getting rid of it. The re-sign bonus is a good idea. You're serving your country. Thank you. You've got a whole process, a thought process on everything until it came to this car, and it's just like this weird thing sitting there in the whole sentence. It doesn't fit. So I'm okay if you keep it because it's not more than half your annual income, and you can pay it off in under 2 years. But dude, I'd get rid of the debt within a very short period of time. I would lean into it, knock it out as fast as you possibly can. And if you're not willing to jack up that car and get rid of it in terms of that, then you need to look at moving down and out of it. It's not something you want to coast around on. If you're going to keep it, you need to get it paid for.
It's like you always say, and I love this quote. I quote you all the time. You say, you can wander into debt. You cannot wander out. You have to get fired up and do something different, or else that car payment will stay there forever. Yep. I mean, it will be there forever.
Sure will. That's exactly right. Well, good show today, Christy.
This was fun.
Thanks for hanging out. James Childs and Kelly Daniel in the booth, thank you. Great job, our producer, assistant producer. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.